Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. So I wanted to come on here and have a little chit chat with you all because I haven't been posting a video like that. I have been so busy with doing so many things. It was just like recording videos weren't a priority, and not only that, but like I'm strictly operating off recording on my phone. I tried to do a laptop type setup, but I don't like how the camera looks. It's a little windy. Sorry y'all. I am at, it's for windy y'all. I am at my wax appointment getting all the things waxed, including my eyebrows. I got here like 45 minutes before my appointment just to kind of like sit in silence, I guess, and just sit with my thoughts and stuff like that. And life has really been going great as far as like my mood and me being proactive, me getting things done, and it's just been like a really good feeling. And so I was like, now I think I'm ready to jump back into consistently putting out a video a week or maybe more. And so I was just like, let me just sit down and talk with the people. I feel like I watch so many YouTube videos and I try to create content similar to theirs because I see that they have more subscribers and stuff like that. But I'm realizing like, but how is that gonna make my channel unique? You know what I mean? Like, being myself is like the most important thing, I guess, for me. At the same time, it's like, I want to make sure that the people are interested in the things that I'm talking about. I'm just giving you my life, and if you feel like you vibe with it, great. If you don't, great. I have been so preoccupied with just being a mom and a wife. It kind of like took a toll on me, like as far as me feeling overwhelmed, like very grateful, very thankful, but that still doesn't take away from the feeling of feeling overwhelmed when I don't actually take time for myself or put too many things on my plate. And so a lot of people look at me and they're like, girl, I don't see how you a stay-at-home mom, blah, blah, blah. Everybody has their opinions. Some people feel like it's too much, or which it ain't easy. Or they feel like, oh, I can't be with my kids all day, or girl, I can't be in the house all day, which we still go outside the house. I don't know why people think we don't. But also people feeling like I don't do anything all day and I'm just sitting around all day, and am I really teaching my kids all day, and just all types of stuff. It's mostly negativity. I have very supportive people, but it's just one of those things where I want to really start sharing my thoughts on my life, like, because I'm always so busy with my kids and my husband and myself that I don't really feel the need to like cut on the camera or make a post on Facebook or a post on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. But I think that it is necessary to give people insight on my life, because I watch a lot of stay-at-home mom videos, and although I can relate to them in so many ways, there are some things that I feel like is missing that I would love to see in videos. And not to say like that they're being fake or anything, because that's their life, but for me, I don't really see me. I don't see me. So I'm gonna provide me, to you guys, and just whatever is in relation to that's what I'll be sharing. So that could be from my thoughts on things, my feelings on things, how I did something or do things. It could be on veganism, raw veganism, homeschooling, just day in the life vlogs, so stuff like that. Same thing kind of before, but probably in a different format that really fits with me, because having to carry a phone around all day and record videos is just not something I can do at the moment. So I'm thinking about like chopping things up into shorts, because I have noticed that I am way more active on my Facebook page, which is also Shavanique Wako, by the way. Be sure to click the one where I have on like a white sweater. That is my new page. But yeah, so, and I realize it's because I'm able to actually post shorts, and then I'll just, go from there, and then I can turn them into reels, and then I've been putting them on my Instagram, and then sharing some on YouTube. So I'm gonna start back doing that more. And then every so often, I want to at least record one full video, like a video, once a week, and also incorporate shorts. So yeah, that's what that's about. And so one thing that I feel like has helped me with my stay-at-home journey is treating me, which is my life, with as far as being a mom and a wife, as a business. That is my number one business. I am an entrepreneur, and in this business, in the family business, meaning taking care of my children and my husband and the house, that is a business. That is our business, because in order for us to operate, we have to, for me, I have to operate it like a business. So I say that in the sense of, I started really thinking about like, how can I do better as a mom and a wife, and not only that, but better for myself, because to be quite honest, and this is what I mean by, like, I see some of this, I'm not saying nobody talks about, the real, or if, I know everybody don't experience the same thing, but for me, I don't have help with my children. I have 5 children, majority of the time. So meaning Monday through Friday, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I have my kids most of the time. And then when my husband comes home in the evening, they're up for a little while, but of course they're going to sleep. And on the weekends, we kind of spend time as a family most of the time, so I'm still in mommy mode, right? And I say that also to say that some people have like grandparents or friends or cousins. Like, when I tell y'all we have no babysitters, we have no babysitters. Now we do have one babysitter, but like as far as an adult, like a grown person, like over the age of 18, we don't have a babysitter. So we do utilize, like, my nieces sometimes, or teenagers of friends, but for the most part, like, we don't have a babysitter. And so it can get very, very, very aggravating for me sometimes, like to the point where I'm functioning, but I'm like suppressing how I feel. And then I get to the state of like, now I'm like in this depressive state, and I'm sitting around like just feeling overwhelmed and having the sense of why nobody is helping me, and just whatever. And so I signed up for therapy a few months ago through an online app. I don't like how windy it is. I might have to pick this back up, y'all, because I might go ahead and go in early. What time it is? I got 15 minutes. I'm gonna go in because I'm gonna try to talk a little more, but it can get very stressful. But when you really become a stay-at-home mom, it's a blessing to be there for your children and your husband and yourself, because when you're working for a business, you're pouring all of this time into this business in exchange for funds, right? But in my sense, I'm working for my family to get my soft girl life. You know what I mean? Like, and I know that sounds like, to some people you might not get it, and then some people you're like, yes, like, and essentially I think that's where I belong, right? I'm not gonna say that's where all women belong and men should work and women should be out. I'm not one of those people. I feel like you do what's best for you, because I know everything ain't for everybody. But for me, I understand that when I have certain things a certain way, it helps me vibrate on a certain frequency, which helps me, it helps me navigate, and it helps me to also be a positive guide and a light for my children and my husband when it's time, right? And just to set that energy for them, like to set that space for them, for my kids to set that experience for them, to being able to talk to me or come to me, or me being there and watching them grow and just getting bigger, and just me and my husband loving on each other, me not having to worry about funds and he's worrying about funds, while he knows that our kids are being taken care of and that our kids are having the time of their lives. Or him just knowing, like, when I get home to my wife, I know I can talk to her, I can vent to her, I'll have some food ready, for lunch every day. I have lunch, I have breakfast. For me, that's my place, and I know that that's my place because of how I feel when I'm at work. When I was doing a 9 to 5, because that's the thing, like, I'm still making funds, right? And maybe I'll share more of that in the future, but I'm still making funds, like, and not to mention I also work for my husband's business. I love my life, right? And like I said, it still doesn't take away from the fact that I get overwhelmed as a mom of 5. And so I found myself, like, getting upset with my husband, like, like, can you be home at this time instead of this time and not work on weekends? And can you promise this and promise that, and that way I can have my time to myself? And it was one of those things where I felt like, and so this is where I feel like the realness might end up kicking in for y'all, because and I'm not gonna be putting all my business on the internet, but I do want to give some context into my life, because if you are thinking about being a stay-at-home mom, I want my life to be an example for you, to not scare you away. And if it does, that's fine. It's not for you. But I will say, if you're thinking about it, try it, because if you feel called to do it, do it. If not, don't. But if you are someone who's aspiring to be a stay-at-home mom / wife, and first, that don't mean you gotta not be working, right, to be that first, because there are a lot of stay-at-home moms who still work, like 9 to 5 jobs remotely. I don't do that anymore, but I do work. Like, you have to be prepared, and I've never seen that in my life growing up. So I'm starting from scratch with this, right? Every woman I've known worked like a 9 to 5 and came home and took care of the kids and still did this. And so I want to show you that the real, like, my story, my portion, because everybody's portion could be different, again, based on their circumstances. People who have help, they may not talk about the same things that I talk about, because they got help. But if you're one of those people who are ready to, who are looking to step into being a stay-at-home mom / wife, whether you're working or not, and you're wanting to be successful, I say, number one, come up with a plan. Come up with a plan, because the reality is, especially, because, again, I watch, me and my husband, we watched this couple on YouTube. It's called How Married Are You? Yvette and Glenn. And there's, I think they're essentially a stay-at-home couple. Like, she's a stay-at-home mom, he's a stay-at-home dad. But they're there together and they're able to make funds. For me, my husband is gone, and I'm left with all day, majority of the day, as the only parent in the household for all 5 of my children. The main source of contact. This is how I like to set it up. So it's like, you'll start seeing my terminology, like, when I reference my, this type of stuff, like, I'll start saying stuff in correlation to business. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I had to really, and I've done this for a month now, and so I realized, like, girl, you want to work and still worry about, you know, you'll get the time away from your kids, cool, but now you got to work, which means you're going to probably need even more time. You're probably going to have even more time away from your kids. And is that worth it? You know, or are you willing to figure out how can you make your life more effective, or, you know, make things more effective for you to still be able to enjoy the things like being a stay-at-home mom / wife and having a soft life? You should really set up a plan. And so what I did was I went to Chat GPT, and I was just like, you know, I want to start operating my business, my duties as a stay-at-home mom / wife as a business, you know, being the CEO or the owner, whatever. Can you help me populate a business plan? Like, that thing spit out a whole business plan for me, like literally based on my everyday duties and, you know, and the things that I was putting in. And I was like, yeah, mission statement, like, just to keep me reminded of why I am doing this, because sometimes it can get a little too hard. And so the second thing that I did was I started really creating daily habits like a business. You know how businesses have first shift, second shift, third shift? Well, I have a rising shift, which is essentially my self-care shift, right? And then I have opening shift, which is my rising slash self-care shift. I basically get up, I meditate, I journal, I read, I exercise. That is what I do for myself as soon as I get up. Hydrate, all of those good things, wash and get ready. The opening shift is what I start doing to the home itself to prepare for my husband and my children to get up. So that looks like me getting home from the gym, after I wash, going ahead and starting breakfast. And if I need to fold any like laundry before everybody get up, I might do that. But essentially, in that first couple of hours, I'm trying to aim to cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because I realize that when I go ahead and get breakfast, lunch, and dinner out in the day, like out early in the morning before everyone gets up, then I'm able to really enjoy the day with the kids. And then when they get too rowdy, you know, it doesn't bother me as much, because I'm already feeling like overwhelmed with the noise and the fighting and the arguing and the crying and me having to stop what I'm doing, you know, to wash dishes and cook and you know, to be there with the kids. And it's like, no, that's very hard to do that. So I get that out the way, and then, like I said, any light cleaning that I need to do, I do it. I love after that to go ahead and wash dishes. Most of the time I'm washing dishes. This is all of my my opening shift. I wash the dishes, and sometimes it'll go over to when I'm feeding them breakfast. And so that's when I get the kids up, and somewhere between when I'm working out at the gym, my husband gets up, so he's kind of like already getting himself up. And so, you know, it's just like you have to set up a plan. And I really want to go into depth a little bit more, but I'm kind of pressed for time. But essentially, that's my and let me know if y'all want me to go a little bit further or deeper with everything I do, but just to kind of give you an idea what each shift is. And so that's my opening shift, and then I start my first shift. And so to me, first shift is where we and so also in the opening shift, I get the kids up and get them together, they eat breakfast, do their chores, and then I let them go ahead and have like craft or playtime. First shift is where I continue to pick up the house a little bit more, so mopping, dusting, you know, cleaning up the house, because I already didn't cook, so I'm just really cleaning the house. And then shortly after that, we do jump into schooling. I allow them to do craft time or playing outside or painting, anything while I'm trying to clean up, which usually takes like an hour or two, and I'll do that, and then we'll come in and get ready for schooling. And then after schooling, they will have lunch, and then I let them play. And from there, I have not been doing nap time, because I like to lay them down at a certain time. Now it is 5:27 and I'm supposed to be in 3 minutes, so let me go ahead and get up in this so I can get
them in one of two delicious flavors, chicken fajita or chicken bacon ranch. This is huge news. For folks who love you.
So your girl is done. I think they did a really good job. I'm very satisfied. And let me tell y'all, everything be happening for a reason, I swear. And I'm in the era of when things seem like they're going wrong, just go with the flow, baby. And not that something was going wrong, but I usually have been booking my appointments on Friday mornings at 9:30 for Merkel to go in late, because I know I can get him to go in late versus asking him to come home earlier, and getting my wax appointment, setting my wax appointments around those times. Well, he got off work today earlier than anticipated, like around 2:30, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna see if they open until like 5 or whatever. Come to find out, y'all, I didn't even notice the people was up there. The place I go to is open till 8 p.m. That's perfect time. So not only did I realize they're open later than I thought, but I loved the first person who started like my waxing journey. But this lady, I love her even more. Like I love both of them, but I don't know, like the energy is different. I don't know, I feel like I don't know, I feel like we're more matched, right? But anyway, so yeah, I did that today, and now not only am I gonna be able to go, mainly I'm going to be able to go around a good time. Like I can go before they close at 8 p.m. right? I can get here at 7 p.m. because yeah, I can do that. Talk about my self-care / rising shift, my opening shift, and then my first shift. And so after schooling, we do lunch, we do play, we spend time together, most of the time outside, most of the time we do school at home, but a lot of the times we also, probably 3 out of the 5 days we're doing homeschool at home, mainly because lately it's been raining a lot. But we still go out like to the library, try to go to indoor places, but we love to go like in nature and do schooling when it's not too hot or too cold or too wet. And so that's pretty much how first shift goes. And also in first shift, after they finish schooling and they eat their lunch, like I said, I allow them to play. If they get too rowdy, get to arguing, somebody start whining a lot, then it'll be nap time for whoever needs to take a nap. And after that, I do focus on some business around that time. I also forgot to mention, like in my first shift, right before we get started with homeschool, I do a little bit of work. I get a little bit of work done for my husband and his business. And honestly, for my husband, I do that throughout the day. So I like to start early in the morning to get whatever I can get done, check emails, email people back, and send out estimates and stuff like that. I like to do that stuff early in the morning. And then I'll come back after the kids are finished with their lunch and we're done with homeschooling and all that. I'll check them again. And so during this time that I'm doing all this stuff, I'm chill. Like, I'm freely doing homeschooling. I'm relaxing while we're doing homeschooling. We're all laughing. We're talking, like, we're having a good time. And I'm not feeling rushed. I'm not feeling overwhelmed. I'm just vibing. Like, we're vibing as a family. And so after I finish with checking on my husband's business and things that he needs done, like I said, I'm still doing that throughout the day sometimes, because he could call me right after that and I'm done with it. And if he need me to do something, they can't wait until I get ready to check into things the next morning, then I'll do that. But then I get into my things. And so the things that I am in and working on. And so after that, I pretty much get ready for tomorrow. And so what that looks like is I'll go ahead and have the kids get their night clothes out. I'll have them also and all these things they're picking out for me. They're picking out and showing me there. I'm not just letting them go in there, which they probably would be able to do it themselves anyway, but especially the youngest two. Well, the youngest one, the second to the youngest one, but the youngest one, she want to do everything like everybody else too, so that's another thing. But I have them pick out out their clothes for the next day, and I also have them pick out their night clothes. Everybody washes before they eat. I used to let everybody eat, then they wash, and then lay down. I found that was a little bit too much on me, and I needed relief as soon as they finish eating. And so I have set all of this up to do this without my husband. And not to say like I don't need him, because I definitely need him. If he could come in and help, like today, he was able to get off early. He came home and got the kids. I was able to do my appointment today, like, so I can still kind of stay on track tomorrow. He's cooking dinner instead of me cooking dinner. Yeah, so, you know, I am thankful for these days. And like right now, I just feel so, I feel so happy because I got a break. And even if I did not have a break, I still try to set my life up where I can have that break. Because the way that our life is set up is we have family and we have friends, but everybody has their own lives. And I can expect someone to watch my kids. Like, those are our kids. We decide to keep doing the do until we got 5 chaps. But yeah, that's what we chose. And so, like, put me back in the mind frame of like, you want to go work and do this, go ahead. And so I decided, like, girl, any other business don't even matter to me if my house is not in order. That it really helped me put things into perspective. And it was like, I always knew that, which is why I started doing this. But every now and again, I forget like the perks of being a stay-at-home mom. My lips look dry, honey. Let me do it, y'all, cause girl, what? But yeah, I forget the perks. Let me turn my car off. I be forgetting. Is my lights on? No. I forget the perks of being a stay-at-home mom, and so, you know, although there are many perks, if I am not strategic and careful, it could be. Do y'all do that every time y'all put your lip gloss on? You're like, yo, them lips smell so good. But anyway, and this don't even have a smell. I just did this to do. But if I don't set myself up for success, it can take a toll on me, which is not good for none of us, especially me, because it's me, right? And the way that I have to take care of my family is by taking care of me first. Now, sometimes, you know, my children's needs, right, or my husband needs, right, may come before me. You know, they might be sick. My husband had a real bad stomach virus for a couple of days, and like, so now, you know, I have to pivot. You know, I have to navigate. I have to be flexible. All of these traits that I'm having to do, guess what? I was doing in a work field, like the 9 to 5, the corporate world. We had to be flexible. If they needed us to come on a Saturday, guess what? I had to come in on a Saturday. Or if I didn't, I might get written up. You get too many write-ups, guess what? You're fired. Which I never got that, but it's just the point of like I choose to be a businesswoman of my home first. And not to say that if you're working or if you're even doing a 9 to 5 or in corporate, you're not putting your family first. But what I'm saying is, for me, it's easier, because I see people do it all the time. It's easier for me to do it and still be there in the ways that I need to be there for our family. And you know, so that's just that. Because yeah, that's just pretty much it. And so after that's first shift. First shift is pretty much like schooling, lunch, playtime, chill time with the kids, getting work done business wise, and then from there I have them get their clothes out. That is the final, pretty much the final step of our first shift. So I don't do like first, second, third shift. As you can tell, I name it based on my life, right? After first shift, we go into what I call second shift, or closing shift. Sorry, I call it closing shift. And so now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should change first shift to something, because it sounds like there's another 2 or 3, but it's really not. It's closing shift. I probably should name that main shift. we might need to switch that name to main shift. I might name main shift. But after the main shift, because that's the middle main part of the day, I go to closing shift, and closing shift looks like they wash, like I said, then they eat, and then they lay down. And so when they do that, I go into cleaning up anything in the kitchen or the area, like just slightly, because I'm gonna already clean in the morning. Like I said, before everyone gets up, if I can do something really quick within a 30 to 45 minute span, I'm still gonna do that. But I do like to, after that, I pretty much clean up. I like to clean up a little bit. So mainly that's wiping down the tables, putting the tables, the chairs up on top of the tables in the kitchen, sweeping the floors. I don't usually mop. If I mop, I'll mop early in the morning if I want to, but sometimes I do mop at night, but not for real. And then I like to wipe down the counters, and I do wash a few dishes until I don't feel like washing any more dishes. And then what I'll do is I'll drain the water out, and don't judge me, but I'll rinse all the dishes that's left, and I'll fill the sink back up with dish water like I'm about to wash dishes, and put the remaining dishes in the sink just so they can loosen up overnight. And then when I get up in the morning, I'll wash the dishes with obviously hot fresh water, right? Don't do that. But just to kind of like make it easy. I don't got to be in there scrubbing too hard or messing up pans trying to rush or whatever. And yeah, and so after I finish doing that, I go ahead and wash. I spend time with Markel, and sometimes I'll spend time with Markel, my husband, first, and then start cleaning up, because that's just how the night went, right? But most of the time, I'll try to like clean up, and then we can cuddle until we fall asleep and talk or whatever. But sometimes, like I said, we do that before, and then I'll decide to get up, after a while of laying down and falling asleep, let me go ahead and hit this kitchen real quick. And sometimes I won't. I'll just wait till the next morning. But I just want to say, just create your system. Create the system that works for you. And yeah, that's the best advice I can give. Let me know if this video was helpful. I can definitely give a little bit more details, like as far as the time frame and how I do all this in 24 hours and what I'm actually doing. And I'll also start trying to record some content, but again, that takes more time versus me doing a sit down video, editing, and then posting. But yeah, so anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and head out. This is on my hand. That wax. She got wax on my hand. I'm about to head to the grocery store, get a limeade, and probably some popcorn. Whew, I love me some popcorn. And just go home, sip on some wine, eat this delicious food that my man cook, and enjoy my kids, my man, our time as a family. And I will be talking to y'all in the next video. And I do thank y'all so much for watching. I thank y'all for sticking around with me, sticking around with your girl. And yeah, how many stay-at-home moms are watching my videos? Do you see any similarities in my life versus your life? And if not, what you got going on? What's your channel? Because I would love to follow, because like I said, I do watch a lot of stay-at-home mom videos. So until next time, I love you guys. Again, thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are already a part of the channel, thank you again for showing up for your girl. I love y'all.